Good evening, Whitney and Tom. How you doing?
I'm doing well. First day back at work.
Hard day, huh? Hot day too. As long as it's air conditioned, it wouldn't have been so bad.
Yeah, yeah.
How about you, Tom? How you doing?
Yeah, I'm good.
Good. Only the two of you. What's happening to the rest of your team?
Ah, no commitment.
Go in their group chat. You're going to razz them up a bit and say, "Hey guys, this might be valuable." Day before a grand final.
Yep, I can do that.
What I've done is I've grabbed videos of all of the Southern Lights goals they scored against us in rounds 3, 8, and 11, or whichever rounds it was that we played against them. So we can have a look at them and see what happened to allow those goals to be scored. With just the two of you, it's not going to be terribly useful, though. It's still okay to have a look at them, and then we'll email out the link to everyone else, and they can have a look at it as well. But it's an interesting piece of analysis. It's the only time when we actually look at our opposition and see what they're doing terribly much, because most of the time we're concentrating on our own on our own game, and that still is the emphasis for what we want to do on is it Saturday or Sunday? Whichever day it is. Anyway, it's one of the.
It's Saturday.
Okay, I can't remember. We've got a full list too. Every single Tiger is playing. So we've got 3 full lines of D and 4 full lines of forwards. It's a grand final. Everyone wants to do it, yeah. So everyone's excuses have at least gone away for that one. Bearing that in mind, what I'll do is I'll just basically go through those goals, and I'll get the two of you just to tell me if you can recognise how they were scored and what went wrong to allow them to happen. There's some common themes, and we'll just see if we can work out what the Southern Lights do. And there's some other things that they do in their games as well, that are different to how we play. And that's a good, healthy thing. Things like, for example, their defensive zone face-off is pretty much non-existent. Their D pinch in a lot, which gives us the opportunity to get behind them. But they're also pretty quick, so they can get away from us if we give them room to move, which we've got to make sure that we don't, because they've got 3 goal scorers on that team. They've got Sadie Martin, who has scored more goals than anyone else by I think about a factor of 2. And they've got Amy, surname I can't remember, who's got a pretty decent shot on her. And also they've got the big guy who fires in from the point and occasionally scores goals if you give him room to move. If you don't give him room, he's not very good. If you give him 10 meters of space, he can fire a shot in, and he's got a fair bit of power. So we need to make sure that we nullify that and be hard to score against. Last night, Jane and I went in to watch a couple of the games just because it was nice and cool at the rink and hot at home. And 2 of the 3 finals that night went into overtime and then shootouts. So it most definitely does happen. And not surprisingly, none of the teams knew what they were doing. They had no idea. The coaches didn't know. The referees were having to explain things to them all the time. There was a penalty in one of the I think in fact in both of them, in both of the 3-on-3 overtimes, where when you have a 3-on-3 overtime and you have a penalty, the other team gets an extra player rather than you losing a player. So your player sits in the box, but your team is down 1 because the other team gets to put 1 extra player on rather than you losing 1 because you can't play 2-on-3. At least that's not how the rules work. The least number of players you can ever have on the ice is 3. And so if there's a penalty against you in a sudden death overtime with 3-on-3, you go to 4-on-3. And if there's another penalty, you go 5-on-3. And when that penalty's over, your player comes out of the box and then you're 4-on-4 until there's a stoppage and then you go back to 3-on-3. And it all happens in 5 minutes and there's no stop time. The clock just keeps ticking. So it happens pretty quick. And that's what happened last night. There was a lot of confusion, a lot of coaches not having a clue as to what was going on. And just watching it going, guys, you should know this. You're coaching this. You've come to a final. You know the rules. You should be aware of what's happening. But so many just don't. Anyway, that's not going to be us. We do know the rules and we do know how it's going to work if it does go to that. But we're going to try and make sure that it doesn't. We're going to try and score more goals than them during the game. We do that by preventing them from scoring first and foremost. So let's have a look at the goals that were scored against us over the season. We'll have a look. We'll go all the way back to round 4. They scored 2 goals in this one. Let's have a look at the very first one. All right, so what happened? Earth to Tigers, come in. Is anyone home? What happened? You want to watch it again so you can see? Evening, Cass. We'll watch it again. And I want you to pay attention to what happened and see if you can work it out. All right, second chance. What happened? Earth to Tigers. Hello. What did you see? It's going to sit here and wait.
I might need to see it one more time.
All right, we'll watch it again.
I feel like he just gets kind of lucky. Like he's shooting from a pretty bad angle, and I feel like Phineas is covering him pretty well.
You're right. It was a bit of a lucky shot. I think Lockie probably would have wanted that one back if he could have it again. Because it was a shot from a fairly wide angle. He was pushed fairly wide. But was he under much pressure?
I guess he could have had a bit more pressure on him.
Not at that point, but probably a little bit earlier. We had Izzy playing center, and she hasn't played center very much. And you can notice if you watch what Izzy does, and it's not a criticism, she hasn't played the position very much, but watch what happens from the face-off. So she's there on the blue line at the moment, and we've got three of them plus their goal scorer. At this point in time, we're a little bit exposed, aren't we? It's not bad, but we're a little bit exposed. I'd probably like to see at that point Izzy to be closer to, you can't see my mouse moving, but there's a player above the face-off dots, one of them. I can't see his number, out wider. She should probably be marking him, and the other D keeping a close eye on the one who's going to come down the middle. It's a bit of a muchness. You can't really tell what's going to be the right or the wrong option there, but that's probably would be a better option. And that's the importance of the centre coming back quickly and reading that play. I think, again, Izzy hadn't played centre before. She's used to playing wing. And she's not a very defensively minded player. She's great on the counter attack. Really, really good at that. Not the best defending player. It's just not in her mindset. And I think that contributed to that one. But as you say, Tom, mostly it was a bit of a lucky shot from a pretty bad angle. We'd mostly done the right thing. So I don't think there was anything really wrong with that one. Let's have a look at the next one.
Upward, Sadie!
Thoughts on that one? We've looked at this one before. Whitney, do you remember it? It's a while ago now, probably 3 months.
Not really.
The lesson that came out of that was we did a really, really slow change at a bad time. We had, what's her name? I'm just having a complete brain fade. One of our wingers, one back and have a look at it. And again, unfortunately, on this play, you can't see my mouse, but you might be able to see red shorts.
I think it's Maddie.
Yeah, so Maddie, watch what she does. Can you see the problem at the moment? Now, Maddie was lost. She was very new and had no idea what she was doing. So it's understandable and it's a learning experience. But what's the situation here?
She's going like too deep and not covering catch pole up high.
Covering catch pole. No one. What do we know about catch pole?
He can shoot it, so someone's got to cover him.
He can shoot, absolutely. We've got to take away his time and space. We've given him like 25 meters at that point. And then watch what happens. It gets worse, not better. Well, why he didn't shoot there, I don't know, because he had a great opportunity and didn't. But anyway. All right, so what's going on now?
Maddie's going for a change, but the puck is still under pressure in our zone, so catch ball's open.
What she's tried to do is she's tried to do the up the middle and breakout, which is the right thing, but then we've lost possession, and instead of come back and defend, which is the priority, she's gone for a change. Might not necessarily be a problem if the change is quick, but look at how slow the change is. How much time did we give catch ball?
A lot.
Way too much. And it's partially because Maddie made a change at the wrong time. Whitney was still, I think that was Whitney, maybe it might have been your first or your second game. It was early on in the season. So you're kind of like, where do I go? And you were slow about it because, again, you weren't confident. You went around the back of one of their players instead of just blasting straight through their stick. Again, that's a confidence thing. And we just gave catch pole 20 seconds with a puck. And even then, if you look at the shot itself, and you can't see it unless you get a top down, and we don't have a top down, it actually wasn't going to go in the net. Watch it closely on the replay. That puck, I'll see if I can get it. You can see where Lockie is in the net. It hits him and deflects into the net. It wasn't even going to go in, but in that instance, Lockie funneled it. So we put it in when it wouldn't have otherwise gone. So there was a whole heap of things that went wrong. They got a bit lucky as well. We gave them way too much time and space, which gave them that opportunity. In the end, they just did basically the right thing, which is chuck the puck on the net and see what happens. And they got a bit lucky. And it was Catchpole who got both of them in that game. And in both occasions, really, it was a bit lucky. But if you put the puck on the net, you get lucky. If you don't put the puck on the net, you don't. There was a great example of a goal last night in one of the finals where one of the players shot the puck in from the blue line and it had nothing on it. It was like it wasn't a shot that was going anywhere. It hit a winger's stick who was up high defending them, deflected over the top, went over the top of everyone, bounced off the back of the goalie and went into the net. The hockey gods are not with me tonight, right? And it was I can't remember which game it was. I think it was Feisty Lizards playing against some team. I can't remember who they were. And anyway, this wasn't much of a shot, but it just got a weird deflection, went up in the air, went over the top of everyone. Everyone's trying to play lacrosse and hit it with their sticks, which you can't do anyway. And it bounced off the back of the goalie and rolled into the net. And they got a goal, which was the go-ahead goal and ended up being the one that won the game for them. Put on the net, you get a chance. If you don't, you don't. That's the big lesson. Don't give them room and deny them time and space. and put the puck on the net when you get it. That's really the key to these ones. So if we can keep that in mind, we will be harder to beat. All right, let's have a look at the next time we played against them, because they only scored 2 goals in that game. They beat us 2-0, I think. Maybe 2-1. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It's not important now. Let's have a look at what happened in round 7. Round 7, they scored 1. I think they beat us 1-0 in that one. What did we beat them? Anyone remember? No, doesn't matter. You guys are switched on tonight, aren't you? All right, let's have a look. All right, what's the situation?
D-zone face-off.
What are you seeing them set up? Have a look at where they put themselves.
One of the D is like pretty pinched in, it looks like.
Yep, long way in, which is ambitious, but that's okay. They can do that. Don't interrupt your opponents when they're making a mistake. Our wingers do the right thing.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That was great. Perfect. Straight away, they've gone right up to where they should be going. That's spot on. What else is happening? What about our D? Has our D in the slot done the right thing?
Yeah, it looks like he's tying up the winger there.
Sticks up in the air. You're not scoring a goal, not this time, sunshine. Our center's marked their center. What's our other D doing?
Just kind of chilling at the back.
Kind of standing there at the back. If we haven't won it back to that D needs to move up and pick up that other player, or at least come across and get into space, and reasonably quickly. Bear in mind, this is only like a second or two after the puck's been dropped. So let's see what actually happens. What's Lockie thinking? Because we did the right thing on that play, pretty much. Tom, you mentioned it for that first goal they scored. What do you think about that one?
I guess that one was a little bit lucky as well, maybe.
From a bad angle. There was a bit of a screen. We had a couple of players in between Lockie and I think that might have been Sadie who scored it. Sadie scores most of the goals, so it's a pretty fair guess. But again, it was a shot from a bad angle, but there may have been a screen. So screen just means players in between the goalie's eyes. And there's not much you can do about it. At a higher level, you'd probably expect a bit more pressure. So we'll just roll it back a few frames. We'll see how that player's got the puck now. At that point, you've got to get pressure on them fairly quickly. And it's difficult with the way, and partially this is an artifact of how we set up our defensive zone face-off. We want our wingers to move straight up quickly, and they've done that right. That's exactly the right thing to do. If the puck does go back to that player, we've got to think, how are we going to deal with that? And that boils down to the center's responsibility, really, because the center's the closest one to put pressure on it. What's our center doing?
I think he's just idle.
Yeah, just standing there. It's like, no, go put pressure on that player. Because the other guy, I think their other player's catch pole is going. Catch ball goes in deep and is out of the play. When a player is down deep near the corner, can they score from there? Not really. They're not much of a threat. I mean, they can get lucky, but it's pretty lucky. Really, the threat is the other guy who was probably, I think that was Sadie. Certainly got the skill to be Sadie. And yeah, probably in that instance, our centre should have come up closer to him and put a bit more pressure on them. A bit more active stick rather than just kind of standing there passively and being a pylon. Again, it's game 7. Early on in the piece, may have been a centre who hadn't played centre before. But you can see from the role of a centre if you're playing it. So Cass, this is one for you. And I think Emily, you might be playing centre as well on the weekend. That you need to be mindful of picking up that player if there's a loose one. Everyone else has done the right thing, and even there, the centre hasn't done the wrong thing. They can just do a bit better. All good with that. Let's have a look at the next one. No, they didn't score another one. Let's just have a look at this. So I can remember what's going on here. This is another defensive zone face-off. See what happens. How's that setup looking?
I think it's mostly okay.
Yeah, it's pretty good, isn't it? The other thing we can do about that loose player is see how we put our D right back behind the face-off dot down on the goal line? And that's a conscious decision. We're doing that deliberately. What could we do differently with that D?
Maybe like move it closer to the winger on the board side.
And that's a much more common play. If you watch NHL games, that's usually what they'll do. They'll usually bring the D, rather than sitting the D right back on the goal line, they'll bring the D up and match him up with the winger that's on board side. So everyone else is kind of doing the same thing. And if you watch NHL face-off, that's usually how they do it. Not always. Depends who they're playing against and the hand of the center and so forth. And also whether or not they're winning or losing most of the face-offs. But that's generally how they do it. There's a good reason why we don't. And that is that our D aren't quick enough skaters to get back and pick up a puck if the center wins it back to them. Because what we're trying to do there is win the puck back to that D in that back corner. That's our first option as a center. That's where we want to put the puck. So ideally, it goes straight to our D. It's if we don't win it, if it does go to that winger who's board side, then that board side winger has a lot of time and space. And that's where the center has to step up and get them, and the D has to step up and pick up that loose player. But to do that, they've got to read it. And we're not really ready for that, although maybe it might happen game 13. Is it game 13 or game 14? I think it's game 14. So maybe, but I'm not going to dwell on it. I think we just, again, got a little bit unlucky on this one. Let's have a look. No, it wasn't a goal anyway, so we're all right there. Let's just see if our wingers did the right thing. Did our wingers do the right thing?
Kind of.
One of them did.
Yeah.
Scarlett was lost. Scarlett was very lost. Scarlett is very lost. She's still a bit overwhelmed by the game most of the time. She's improved a lot, for sure, but she still needs reminding. So if you're standing next to her, the other winger or the D, or you're the D or whatever, make sure you remind the players beside you what your job is. Drop of the puck, go that way. So drop, go that way, quickly, don't wait. So remind each other, use that hive mind thing. We're a beehive and there's one bee making the decisions and the rest of us are just doing what we're told. Remind each other so you've got that sort of group consciousness. Lockie will help a bit, but he can't do all of it because you probably can't even hear him. But we want to see if we can really get that tight up. We want that bang, 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 bang. Everyone doing exactly the right job. If we do that, we get lots of scoring opportunities. Alrighty. What happened in round 11? Oh, they got 3 goals. Let's have a look at the first one. Oops. I think that's where Lockie thought it hadn't gone for him. I think he's really sitting on it. The referee said it went in, so that's what happened. Let's have a look at it again and see what led up to it. We'll break it down a little bit. All right, so the situation here is what?
The wingers bringing the puck in down the side. D is putting pressure on them. Yeah.
It's kind of like a one-on-one at the moment.
Yeah, what else are you seeing? Step back a couple of meters. So there's a 1-on-1, but there's what else? There's also a 3-on-2, isn't there?
Yeah.
Yeah, we've got, I think that might be Cam skating back down the middle. And we've got our centre who's coasting. Situation now.
Yeah, there's an open player coming into the slot.
The player with the shot, the player who's taking the shot, that might be catch ball again. He's being forced wide. So that's not bad defence. It's probably a little bit of a high challenge, but it's worked. It's pushed him wide and forced him to take a shot from a bad angle. And Lockie's going to save that. We're pretty confident that Lockie will save them. Let's see what happens now. There's the shot. And they've got that player skating right down the middle who just gets it. And we just let them have that lane. And we didn't shut it down. And it's partially because I don't think we were sprinting back down the middle fast enough. I think our centre was a little bit out of position, or perhaps a little bit, I'm not going to say lazy, but just not realising that that's so critical and important. I mean, you know, don't you, Cass, that it's that sprint back down the middle that saves our bacon so many times.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes I just like forget.
Yeah, of course, everyone does. It's, you know, we're beginners, we're learning. I don't expect you to get it perfect. What we want to try and do is learn. So yeah, that's where you've really got to prioritise ball ass back down the middle as quick as you can and beat that other player to the slot so they can't get the rebound. Take it away from them. Be there first. That's really the lesson from this one. The other part about it where we got it a little bit wrong is if you have a look, and it's probably a confidence thing with our D. You look at where the D makes the challenge. So on the right hand side of it, right? Really, where do we want to be making the challenge on that attacking player?
At the hash marks.
A little bit deeper. So it's probably gone a little high. As a result, we get to this point, and how much room's that guy got? Being pressured, but if he gets past the check, what happens?
He's got like a ton of space.
Yeah. He got past them and had room. Now, it's just a judgment call on the part of the D, and maybe we're not super confident at skating backwards, so we can't necessarily do that much better. But you can see the consequences of it when it happens. And as a result, the shot went on, but it was from a bad angle. Lockie made the first save, it bounced off. There's a bit of a rebound. The other guy comes through and somehow manages to tuck it in. And yeah, that was a shit happens goal. So none of these were really, like, they weren't bad goals. There was the one in the first game where we just gave all that space to catch ball, and that was pretty bad. But that's just because, again, we're learning how to do changes and stuff, and it's part of the process. This is not a bad goal. There's not much that goes wrong. We just got a little bit unlucky. They got a lucky bounce, but they took the shot on the net. And when you take shots from the net, sometimes you get those lucky bounces. So look at the next one. Oops, why does that keep doing that? Why does space not behave intuitively? What did we just do?
Cross ice pass.
Back across the middle, putting the puck right back in harm's way. We've got one winger a little slow getting to their position on the boards. I'm not quite sure what's happening with the centre, and I think someone else has just come on from a change. It might be Scarlett. Yeah, I think that's Scarlett sitting up high. You can see up on the sort of top right-hand panel, you can see this. I think that's Scarlett. Our winger's not over on the boards. So the D's broken around the back line, which is the right choice. D's made absolutely the right choice there. Looked up the ice, hasn't really seen much, and gone cross ice, right up through that roll, right up the middle. Let's see what happens. What happened? That's you, Tom. Look at that mohawk.
Yeah, some brutal positioning by me there.
You're learning. That's the whole point. It's a lovely mohawk. But what actually happened? Let's just go back a couple of frames. What's happened to that cross ice pass?
It's been intercepted.
And that's going to happen. It's just going to happen. Time after time after time after time, it's going to happen. They'll do it to us. If we're in position to pick it up, that's great. We'll do it to them when we make the same mistake and give them scoring opportunities. So they've kept the puck in, given themselves a good scoring opportunity. I think I'm not sure if that's Izzy or Scarlett, but it's kind of moving in the right way. It's just a little bit high, and it's because she's coming after a change, so not as deep as we'd like. Because normally that space there would be contested space, wouldn't it? Because if you think about it, our wingers do this all the time, don't they? They shuttle backwards and forwards. So normally middle ice, we've got a player there. It's normally our winger. But in this particular case, there was a change. We got a bit lost. Again, I'm not sure if that's Izzy or Scarlett. I think by the way she's skating, it might be Izzy. He's starting to do that breakout, which is good, but we don't have possession. So we've probably preempted that a little bit, and that's why that's happened. There's another beautiful mohawk from Tom. Now what have we got?
They were offside. He didn't come off properly, did he?
Sorry?
Did he come off properly? That looked like offside.
Maybe. I'm not sure. The referee sees what they see. What's the situation?
2-on-1.
3-on-1.
Oh, yeah.
3, yeah.
Oh dear. Now we've got a counter attack. We've gone and got some changes, which was not the wrong thing to do. We got a little bit unlucky with the timing of it. And they put the shittiest of shitty little dribbler shots on, and it gets past Lockie, who must have been thinking, how did I let that in? That's just terrible. And yeah, it was. But you could see why that happened. That was just a change. I think that was more bad luck than anything else. So all of these goals have one thing in common. They've all been mostly bad luck. They haven't outskilled us, and they haven't outplayed us. They've mostly outlucked us in those particular games where they've won. And we've outlucked them when we've won, because we're pretty even. Two teams are very even, which is good. We want that. One more goal, I think. Yep. Oh, yes. Is that right defense?
There was only one D back. One of them's like super high.
But is he doing the right thing?
Oh yeah, he's doing the right thing.
Yeah, that's right. That's the right place to make the challenge. That's good play. The other D's caught weight up high with a high challenge, but everyone else is racing back hard. 23. I'm not sure who that is. That might be.
That's me.
That's Tom.
So you're coming back and doing the right thing. You've seen the threat. You're trying to do something about it, which is good. You're trying to cover up on 18. 87's being pressured at the right time by that D. That's good defensive play. You can see we're all sprinting back. We're not dawdling. We're not coasting. That's good challenge, good pressure. It's now at a bad angle. We're owning the space in front of the net. We get unlucky. That was just one of those shit happens goals. It was just like they had a player in the slot. We had players in the slot. We ran into each other. We had good challenging from our D in the right place on the whole. We had numbers. Just sometimes you get a bad bounce. That's all that one was. So looking at all of those goals, they're not outskilling us, that's for sure. They're in the right place a lot in attack. Was that 11? That was the last one, wasn't it? Okay, so that's really all I wanted to look at. So now, I guess the big thing to talk about with the five of you is, what do you think we need to do to be competitive on the grand final?
I think like making sure we're in the right spots,
Yep.
playing our positions correctly so no one's left open.
How do we do that? What's the trick?
Communicate.
Yeah, talk to each other. Remind each other. Every defensive zone face-off, remind your wingers, remind your D. If you're a centre, remember that you've got to pick up that loose player. When they get past us, because they'll get past us sometimes, we've got to make sure that we are absolutely hauling our ass back down the middle of the rink, pushing them out into the corners, and then owning the space in front of the slot. Because we know where goals are scored, don't we? We should by now. I hope we know by now where goals are scored. I know where goals are scored. You know where goals are scored. Maybe you need reminding.
In the slot.
Yeah, you've seen the heat map, haven't you? Let's bring it up again. There's the heat map. That's where goals are scored. We own that space. We're very hard to score against. We give that space away. We're easy to score against. And that is the gist of it. That is absolutely fundamental to the game of hockey at all levels that you play. Own that space. Own the red space. Own the yellow space. You're not going to get scored against very much. Even if you do everything else wrong, even if your wingers are way out of position, if all sorts of other silly stuff happens, if you own that space, you're hard to score against. And sometimes you're going to get unlucky. It's just the nature of the game. It happens. You can outshoot the other team by 3-1, and they can beat you because they get a lucky one and you don't. Maybe their goalie's having a great day. Maybe your goalie's having a bad day. It happens. Or maybe it's the other way around. Maybe they outshoot you by 3-1, and yours go in and theirs don't. Again, it's the nature of the game. That's what makes it interesting. Anything else that we need to really concentrate on to be effective on the weekend?
I guess just like looking around and being just aware of your surroundings and like offsides. I know we're still doing that and that's getting a little painful.
We've got to sort that out. What else? What
Maybe
happens if one of your players does go offside? What are you going to do? Whack him with a stick? No. Probably the single most important thing that we need to do on the weekend is to look after each other. We start and we finish as a team, and everything that happens is team play. If someone scores a goal, it's the team that scored the goal. If someone gives away a goal, it's the team that gave away the goal. If we make mistakes, it's the team's mistake, and we own it as a team, and we encourage each other to get up and keep going, regardless. I don't care what the score is. I've won grand finals, I've lost grand finals, and I can tell you winning is a lot nicer than losing on grand final day. But at the end of the day, that's not what it's about. It's about starting and finishing as a team. We'll have that little whiteboard up again with our values. The talk before the game will not be on anything tactical. We know our game plan. We know what we need to do. If you need reminding, talk to me beforehand and we can go through stuff, or you can remind each other, which is even better. But we'll leave the whiteboard in with you with a texter, and you guys can with a whiteboard marker, not a texter. And you can all explain things to each other in ways that hopefully you will understand. As far as I'm concerned, from the coaching position, we've done our jobs. Our job now is just to try and get you in the right mental state to play as best as you can play. Because you know the plan. You've been doing it now for 3 months. None of you are stupid. Reckon we can do it?
yes,
Give me a thumbs up. I can't tell who was that you, Tom, or Cass?
that was me. We can do it.
Absolutely. We can play as a team and we can look after each other. And I think we certainly saw that over the last few weeks. That's really improved a lot. But we do have a full bench, so everyone's going to be there. It's going to be chockers. And our job is just to play our individual roles as best we can and to support each other as best we can. We do that, we're a good chance, and we leave with pride no matter what. It's the last chance to play together as a team. It will be a new team next season. So some of you are moving up, some of you are staying, but there'll be different players. So it's our last chance to play together as a team, and we should value that and value the experience, and also value the experience of playing in a grand final, because you know what? They're pretty damn rare. I've been playing ice hockey now on and off since 1999, possibly before quite a few of you were born. Do you know how many grand finals I've played in?
How many?
1. And we lost the bloody thing. So enjoy it. Absolutely, just live the experience and soak it up. Be part of it. It's huge. It's great. Being able to play in a grand final is the defining thing of anyone playing sport. I think that'll about do, unless any of you have got some questions or anything specific you wanted to go through. No, we're all good. Okay. I'll continue to post some stuff up. I'm not going to put those video segments up on the Facebook group. That's all analysis of the other team, and we're not going to do that. We're not going to help them. They can help themselves. So I'm not going to put that up. I will continue to post stuff on the Facebook group throughout the week with some interesting little tidbits and segments of the game. We will remind you on. I'm assuming too that we're going to stick with the same 3-on-3 and penalty shot draw that we had for the semi. Unless you want to change it, in which case let me know by Thursday or Friday at the latest. Emily, I might leave that with you again if that's okay. If you can organise that, you can just acknowledge.
Yeah, that's fine.
So just let me know. So just discuss it on your group chat and say, hey guys, are we going to run the same or we can change it? Because we want to be prepared if it does happen. Also prepared to pull the goalie and what we're going to do. So reminder of what if we pull the goalie, we don't play D, we flood everyone forwards and do our best to try and get a goal in a hurry. That's about it. Alrighty. Nothing else? Okay then. I'll take silence as a yes. And I'll see you guys on the weekend. I will be at the Stick and Puck on Thursday. If any of you want to come along to that and do some skills work or anything else like that, particularly if you're a centre and you want to come along and do some face-offs. I'm concentrating on face-off work at the moment at Stick and Pucks. So if you want to come along and do some with me, that's not a bad option. I think it's 4 something or other till about 6, maybe 5:30, whatever time it is. But whatever it is, it's at iceHQ. Yeah. And let's live it and love it. Hooroo.
Thanks, Carl.